Dear friends, welcome to Dr. BRR Government Degree College, Jachala. This college is developing certain video content of several lectures in various subjects, BA, BCom and BSc faculties. And this is Ravinder Rao. I'm going to discuss certain topics in zoology. Friends, today we are going to discuss the peculiar invertebrates, that is echinoderms, their peculiar characters, their similarities with other invertebrates, their affinities with other vertebrates and invertebrates, and their special features, their developmental characters, and all the things related to echinoderms up to some extent. Let us discuss today in this class. So let us get started. Phylum Echinodermata. We feel that the phylum Echinodermata is the last phylum among invertebrates or non-chordates. And most of the scientists have proposed theories, postulated several theories about the origin of chordates. Chordates might have originated from these echinoderms. So, what is the meaning of Echinodermata? Echinos means hedgehog, otherwise called spiny. Derma means the skin. So the meaning is very clear. Echinodermata means animals whose skin is having a lot of spines. Spiny skinned animals, but not hedgehogs, spiny skinned animals. Okay, so you just observe on the right side of this slide, you see all these are animals. But these animals are very, very peculiar. You see, generally we have certain locomotory structures like legs, okay, and sensory structures like eyes, ears. So many structures are generally there for animals, but these animals are completely lacking these very special structures. That is why these are very, very peculiar. Most of the very well developed organisms are showing bilateral symmetry, but friends, these are showing radial symmetry. So scientists have considered that these organisms might have undergone certain amount of retrogression during their development to attain these very peculiar status. Generally, the development is towards a progressive side, but we don't know the factors what might have affected these echinoderm ancestors to develop these forms. So scientists were thinking that there might be certain amount of retrogression during the development. Initially, in the year 1734, Jacob Klein for the first time used the word echinodermata, having the spines in the skin of these animals. But Linnaeus in the year 1758 considered that these animals may be having lot of affinities towards molluscans, and these were included in Mollusca by Linnaeus. But later in the year 1791, Bruguière, a scientist, revived Echinodermata for these animals. So finally, Echinodermata is established as a distinctive phylum. Okay. What kind of animals are included in Echinodermata? What kind of animals do we see here? You just see. We have the sea stars or starfishes, brittle stars, brittle stars, sea urchins, sand dollars, sea cucumbers, and sea lilies. So these are, by shape, we can easily recognize that they are very, very distinctive from each other. They are looking very different from one another in shape or in structure and in functions like that. They are looking very, very different, but they are having a common ancestry. We can understand their common ancestry by studying their larvae. So friends, understand that the larval study in Echinodermata is having a lot of significance. And one more very important thing here we have to understand is that these animals are very sluggish animals. Some of the animals are completely sedentary. They are attached to the substratum with a stalk. But how these animals almost all spread all over the parts of oceans. All the oceans are being covered by these echinoderms. How it happens if the animal is so sluggish? That's very, very important. So the answer for this question is that they are larvae. Though these organisms are completely sluggish or very slow moving, but their larvae are very efficiently motile. So the dispersal of these organisms, echinoderms, all over the oceans is because of larvae. So larvae of Echinodermata are very, very significant. So let us study the larvae also later in coming slides. Phylum Echinodermata, let us understand their general characters. They are almost all marine. Say, some authors describe that they are exclusively marine, but around 25 to 45 species of echinoderms are invaded the brackish water also. We are now observing some of the echinoderm species up to 25 to 45 like that in brackish water also. So we cannot be sure that these are completely marine, exclusively marine. But they are completely absent on terrestrial medium and they are completely absent on freshwater medium. So they are marine and they are in salt water especially. And you just look at the surface of the body. The surface of the body of echinoderms is completely spiny. Very rarely the spines may be very, very smooth as in sea lilies, or they may be leathery in the case of sea cucumbers. So except these two extremities, namely the sea lilies, where five spines are very, very smooth like pinnules, and in sea cucumbers, the surface is completely leathery. Except these two extremities, all other echinoderms are showing a very characteristic spiny skin. Okay, these are mostly free living, and a very few individuals are sedentary. They are attached to the substratum with the help of a stalk. Echinoderms are showing brilliant colors. Say, a lot of shades, colors we observe to these animals. This phylum is almost all colorful phylum. And most of the workers classified this phylum on the basis of the shape of their body. If the shape is like star, they are called sea stars. If the shape of the body is just like a flower, they are called sea lilies. If the shape is like urchins, they are called sea urchins. If the shape is like a cucumber, they are called sea cucumbers. So they are showing variety of shapes. So you take any phylum or any class or any group. So the shape of the body is very, very specific. But here in this phylum, these organisms are vivid in their shapes, body shapes. Okay. As these are exhibiting, adults are exhibiting radial symmetry, the ends of the body are only two. The oral end where mouth is present, which is very close to the substratum, and aboral end where anus is present. So the oral end and aboral end are the only two ends. Oral end is consisting of mouth, and aboral end is having anus. Okay, and another very important feature is that these animals having no segmentation. Segmentation is totally absent. Perhaps this kind of character might have induced some of the scientists to include these organisms in mollusca, just like Linnaeus did this one. Okay, so very close similarities to chordates is that they are having mesodermal endoskeleton. Endoskeleton is mesodermal, just like our bone. So bony plate-like structures, they are called spines, movable or sometimes immovable, they are present. So mesodermal endoskeleton forms the movable or fixed plates. This is very peculiar character among all invertebrates. If you take any invertebrate of any phylum, such a character is not found except in Echinodermata. Okay friends, a very important character we are going to discuss, that is coelom. The coelom of these animals is enterocoelom. You know very well that the enterocoelom is formed by an enlargement of a pouch over the roof of organteron. Okay, so these are no doubt enterocoelomic and they are enterocoelomates, but the coelom of these animals can be divided into three parts. Some of the embryonic coelom is present around the viscera in the body called perivisceral coelom, and a part of the coelom is storing water. So water storing coelom is called hydrocele, which is forming water vascular system, and a part of the coelom is circulating the blood. Of course, that circulatory system is very reduced, but it is present. So such a coelomic system is called hemocoelomic system. So let me say that the coelom is perivisceral, coelom is developing water vascular system, hydrocele, and coelom is developing the circulatory system, that is called hemal system. Perivisceral coelom, water vascular system coelom, hydrocele, and hemal system are the three very important areas where you will find the coelom in echinoderms. That's a very important understanding. Now, let us consider some other characters system-wise. Friends, the digestive system of these animals is very peculiar. As I mentioned in my title that echinoderms are very peculiar invertebrates. You cannot compare these animals with any other phylum because every character is a very special character. So digestive system is very small. Digestive system is almost all coiled. Okay. At one end, oral end, mouth opens. At the other end, aboral end, anus will be there. And of course, in some animals, anus is absent. And in some animals, because they are completely attached to the substratum, there is no scope for having anus on the side where it is attached to the ground. That's why mouth and anus are located side by side on oral end. So this is a very important and peculiar feature related to these animals. Okay, and another very important process is that they are very small in size, but they would like to eat a very large prey. Food is large in size, but their body doesn't accommodate that much of size. That's why some echinoderms they send the entire digestive system out, and they digest, they secrete the enzymes outside the body onto the food, and food gets digested, and only the digested food will be taken into the body. This kind of phenomenon where the viscera will come out of mouth is called evisceration. A very peculiar and very important phenomenon. Evisceration. Evisceration means the digestive system comes out of the body through mouth and secretes the enzymes, digests the material, and only the digested material will be taken into the body. This is called evisceration. And respiratory system. If you see the respiratory system in these animals, the respiration in the case of sea urchins occurs with the help of papules or peristomial gills. In the case of brittle stars, there are genital bursae. In the case of holothurians, very important, you can see here in the slide. So a lot of structures, they are called respiratory trees. Respiratory trees are there in holothurian sea cucumbers. Okay, so genital bursae and papillae, peristomial gills. Respiratory trees are the respiratory organs of echinoderms. How is the circulatory system? Friends, observe in the slide. There is circulatory system, but the circulatory system here is called hemal system, and hemal system is surrounded by another system called perihemal system. And hemal and perihemal system are very much reduced because it is compensated by water vascular system. As the water vascular system is very developed, the blood vascular system is very much reduced. That is a very important phenomenon we can observe here. Okay. Then this is a hemal system. You see the black structures, what are drawn in black color, hemal system, and around that there is another system called perihemal system. Of course, hemal and perihemal system both are very much reduced in echinoderms. And another very important thing is excretion. Directly by diffusion. There are no organs of excretion, no kidneys, or no organs of excretion. You see, we feel that the echinoderms are highly advanced among invertebrates, but they don't have excretory system because their body is very small and they are almost all living in in water medium. So directly diffusion occurs. So they are eliminating everything through diffusion. So excretory system is totally absent. Nervous system and sense organs are also very much reduced, very peculiar. Nervous system is ectoneural, edoneural, hyponeural. Only plexi are present, plexi, different plexuses. Okay, nerve networks, plexi means nerve networks. Nerve networks are there. They are ectoneural, hyponeural, edoneural by their position. We can say ectoneural, hyponeural, and edoneural position of nerve nets. So nervous system is not very well developed. They are brainless. Brain is absent. So another is circulatory system is very much reduced. They are heartless. What is the animal without a heart, without a brain? This is echinoderm. But we consider echinoderms are the most advanced among invertebrates. Of course, arthropoda is also highly evolved one, but as per the phylogeny, we consider Echinodermata is a very close phylum to Chordata, but they doesn't have heart. They don't have heart and they don't have brain. Okay, then coming to the reproductive system, these are unisexuals. Male and female are separate, but very peculiarly there is no difference. Sexual dimorphism is indistinct. There is no difference between male and female, but male and female are separate. So sexual reproduction occurs, and also a sexual method of reproduction occurs. When fertilization comes to fertilization is external, and very, very, very important phenomenon is that most of them are having indirect development with a definite larval stage. Presence of larva is really helping the adult, because adult is immotile or adult is sedentary, adult is sluggish, but a larva makes this species disperse various parts of the oceanic area, regions. Okay, so these are very, very important echinoderm general characters. And friends, what are these peculiar characters? What are the peculiar characters of these animals? Peculiar animals from the point of view of evolution. Echinoderms are very, very peculiar from the point of evolution. Most of the organs are degenerated. Okay, they might have undergone retrogression, we have discussed in earlier slides. But why? Okay, this is the peculiarity. So, many characters of these animals very clearly distinguish from the other animals. Let us discuss. Okay, we have already discussed that these are completely marine with a few exceptions. They are just like us, they are deuterostomes. The meaning of deuterostome means the blastopore during the embryonic stage is converted into anus, forms anus. They are enterocoelomates, enterocoelom is there. Their body is having 3 germ layers, triploblastic nature. Of course, these are some of the similarities of echinoderms with other animals. But you see, what is the very, very different character is the dissimilar outward appearance. Outward appearance with 5 arms. Okay, symmetry. I will discuss symmetry here. That's why earlier we have not discussed. So, if you see the shape of the animal is very, very peculiar. Star shape, flower shape, okay, and cucumber shape, and globular shape like that. So we can easily distinguish them with their body form, body shape. And the most catching feature in echinoderms is that their adults are exhibiting pentamerous disposition. That means the body can be equally divided into 5 parts. So all these 5 parts are radially arranged. Hence the symmetry is radial symmetry. And as the radial symmetry means here, it can be divided into 5 equal parts. Okay. So this is called a special evolutionary significance that the radial symmetry now has undergone 5 parts: pentamerous disposition or pentaradial symmetry. Now, as the adults are exhibiting this kind of symmetry, but larvae are exhibiting advanced symmetry, that is bilateral symmetry. This is only the phylum where larval symmetry is bilateral and adult symmetry is radial. Of course, we have studied gastropoda. In gastropoda, mollusca, larval symmetry is bilateral, but adult symmetry due to torsion is asymmetry. But here, larvae are exhibiting one kind of symmetry and adults are exhibiting another kind of symmetry. As the larvae are bilateral symmetry, exhibiting bilateral symmetry, they can be moving very, very fast, and radial symmetry is an advantageous for those animals which are sluggish and moving very slow. Okay, both the symmetries are advantageous to the stages. We must not consider that radial symmetry is disadvantageous. Radial symmetry is disadvantageous for those animals which would like to move very fast, but they are not moving very fast. They are very slow moving. That's why radial symmetry is advantageous for them. Right. Okay. Then there is a central structure, central disc, and from this central disc 5 arms are radiating. A very, very peculiar form found only in the case of Echinodermata. Okay. So this very clear demarcation of these 5 arms is there in brittle stars, in starfishes. In the case of sea urchins, all the five arms folded to form a globular shape. In the case of sea cucumbers, these 5 structures are forming cylindrical structure. And in the case of sea lilies, these 5 arms are further divided into 5 multiples to appear like a flower. And then they are having unique system called water vascular system. We are going to discuss water vascular system in the coming slides. Okay, and then the spiny structures what are present outside the body are sometimes they are in the form of pincers. They are in the form of forceps. Okay, these forceps like structures are called pedicellaria. Very special. That's why these are very special characters. So in arthropoda or in annelida or in any other phyla, in chordata, these are absent. These pedicellaria may be useful for cleaning the body surface. The pedicellaria in the case of asteroidians are only 2-jawed, but in the case of pedicellaria of echinoids, they are 3-jawed pedicellaria in the case of echinoids and 2-jawed pedicellaria in the case of astrozoans or asteroids. What is that? Starfishes. Right. So presence of pedicellaria is a very peculiar and very important, very distinctive, very characteristic structures. Okay. So animals do not possess what we regard as a brain, what we regard as a head, what we regard as heart. Heartless, headless, brainless. Okay. So they do not possess anything close to the central nervous system. Central nervous system is not very well developed or not very distinctly seen here, and sense organs like eyes and are absent. Only a simple combination of chemotactile receptors are present. A very simple combination of photoreceptors, very simple combination of chemoreceptors, simple arrangements of tactile receptors present. That's why sense organs are very, very simple here. Okay friends, these are all very peculiar characters. And what are the resemblances of these echinoderms with chordates? Number 1, they are like chordates showing radial and indeterminate cleavage. And just like chordates, they are also showing invagination phenomenon or pattern during the embryonic development. And the mouth is derived from ectodermal invagination, as in the case of chordata. And adult anus is derived from embryonic blastopore deuterostomia nature. And a mesodermal endoskeleton is a very, very close relating feature of a chordates. And both are deuterostomes and both are having enterocoelom. These are the characters of Echinodermata which are making that Echinodermates are very close relatives of chordates. And from these resemblances, it is very clear that we can say that the only phylum which is very close to chordata is Echinodermata. Okay, some authors have proposed annelid ancestry or direct diploblastic ancestry to chordates, but Garstang and other scientists proposed that echinodermal ancestry. Right. What are the degenerated characters in echinoderms? Lack of head, simple sense organs, incomplete digestive tract, okay, and a reduced circulatory system and absence of excretory system. These are degenerated characters, okay. Retrogression is seen here. And what are very, very special characters? That characters are not found anywhere in animal kingdom. Presence of spines and pedicellaria, ambulacral system, water-vascular system, hemocoelic system, hemal system, mesodermal endoskeleton, calcareous plates, bilateral symmetry in the larva and radial symmetry in the adult. Okay, and the very, very special system that is observed in echinoderm forms is the water vascular system. We are all having blood vascular system where blood is flowing in our body in blood vessels. And in echinoderms, instead of blood, water, seawater is circulating. For the circulation of seawater, there is a very special system developed. That system of canals here is called water vascular system. So how many canals are there in water vascular system, and what are their functions, and what is the importance of water vascular system? Let us see this slide. Friends, I mentioned echinoderms are having oral surface and aboral surface. Okay. On aboral surface nearby anus, there is an aperture called Madriporite. There is a structure, Madriporite. This Madriporite is present in between two arms. Actually, 5 arms are there, 2 arms, 3 arms, like that. So, wherever Madriporite is present, those 2 arms are called bivium. The other 5 arms are called trivium. Okay. On what is that? Aboral surface, there is a structure, as I mentioned, called Madriporite, and this Madriporite is having several folds. Okay, several what is that called? Folds are there, and each fold is having several small pores. Through these pores, so seawater is taken into the body. As it is having minute pores in the Madriporite, so it acts like a sieve, and it will take only not large particles in the seawater can go into the body. That's why it acts like a sieve. So this structure is called Madriporite. Okay, the Madriporite opens into the body, and immediately beneath the Madriporite there is a very big chamber called Ampulla, and then it leads into an S-shaped canal. That S-shaped canal is known as stone canal. You observe here, this is called stone canal. Madriporite, a sieve-like structure of water vascular system, allows water to go into the water vascular system, and it opens into S-shaped canal. This is called stone canal. Friends, based on the origin of stone canal, the echinoderm ancestry is very, very significant. Okay, this is stone canal. Now, the stone canal opens into a canal known as what is this canal called? Ring canal. This is called ring canal. Okay, this ring canal is present around the central disc, around mouth. So a canal is there that is called ring canal. So it may be pentamerous like this. Okay, pentagonal. Now, so this is the ring canal, and from the ring canal into each arm, a canal runs. This canal is called ambulacral canal or radial canal. So how many radial canals are there? Equal to the number of arms. As it is having 5 arms, 5 radial canals are there. These radial canals are in radiating manner on all 5 directions. Okay, each radial canal, you just observe one radial canal. Each radial canal is having lateral canals in 2 rows. Lateral canals. Okay, so lateral canals are there. each lateral canal, 2 rows means one canal is long, one canal is small, one canal is long, one is small, like that. Okay. Each lateral canal is opening into a structure, very important structure, that is called tube feet. Presence of tube feet is also a peculiar character in Echinodermata. And so far what canals we have seen will come again. Okay. There is an aperture, a sieve-like structure that is having many pores to receive water into the body, is called Madriporite, which is present in arboreal region. That opens into ampulla. Ampulla leads into a stone canal, into the stone canal. Stone canal joins into the what is that called, circular ring canal, and the ring canal forms 5 radiating canals. These are called radial canals or ambulacral canal. Each ambulacral canal forms lateral canals. The lateral canals are in 2 rows. That means one lateral canal is long, the next lateral canal is small, long, small, like that, to accommodate tube feet very close. So each lateral canal is opening into tube feet. Okay. Each tube foot is having a large ampulla, a podium, and a sucker. Sucker, podium, and ampulla. You can see that later in the diagram. Okay. So these are all the structures. But what are there in a ring canal is also a very, very important thing. Friends, observe, this is the ring canal. This ring canal is having small structures towards inner surface. These small connective tissue structures are called Trideman bodies. These Trideman bodies are present in between the radial and interradial position. This is radial position, and exactly in between the 2 radial position there is interradial position. Between the interradial and radial there is one Trideman canal. Between interradial and radial there is another Trideman. So between the 2 radiating arms, radiating canals or radial canals, 2 Trideman bodies are there. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 8, plus where the stone canal is present, there only one Trideman body is present. So totally the Trideman bodies are 9 in number. Where is it unpaired? Unpaired Trideman bodies are there near the area where stone canal is formed. The Trideman bodies are believed to secrete some enzymes, or they are believed to filter the water, or else they are also believed to produce some phagocytes or amoebocytes or white blood cell like structures. So they are very important in the immune system, like that. So this is a projection or a hypothesis related to the Trideman bodies, and their function is not very clearly known. Then this is about Trideman bodies. And you also observe, friends, there are certain sac-like structures, vesicle-like structures. These vesicle-like structures that are directly opening into the ring canal are called Policn vesicles. Policn vesicles, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that, Policn vesicles are there. And these Policn vesicles, authors opine that these Policn vesicles may be controlling the pressure. Okay, they are responsible for building up pressure, controlling the pressure of water vascular system. And some authors also believe that they are also producing the antibody-like structures, or what is that called, WBC-like structures. Okay, all right. So let us see how water is circulated. Water is taken into the body by Madriporite, and from there water goes into the stone canal, and from the stone canal water reaches the circular canal that is called ring canal, and in the ring canal everything is filtered and tested. So some antibody-like structures are also secreted to kill the perhaps to kill the bacteria, like that, and pressure is maintained by Policn vesicles. And from the ring canal water moves into the radial canals or ambulacral canals. As water is moving into radial canal and ambulacral canal, Each radial canal is having lateral canals, and water goes into the lateral canals, and thereby water gets stored for some time in the sac-like structure of tube feet that is known as ampulla. Okay, this ampulla is having a small structure called podium, and podium is opening outside through a sucker called tube feet. So when more water pressure is there, tube feet come out. When water pressure is reduced, tube feet will be withdrawn, podia will be withdrawn. So that podia come out, podia withdrawn. Based on that, starfish gently moves with the help of it, walks on its tube feet. So such a very peculiar system we will find only in these echinoderms, and of course the starfish is not having these Policn vesicles. And this is the diagram of starfish. You see the Madriporite. Madriporite is having several several grooves are there, or ridges are there. Each ridge is having lot of pores. Many pores are there through which water goes inside. As water has gone inside there is a cavity, as I mentioned. This is known as ampulla, and where from it goes into the stone canal. And from the stone canal, water reaches the ring canal, and from ring canal it goes to the ambulacral canals, and from there I mentioned two rows, long row, short row. Two rows of tube feet are there only to cover all the areas of the substratum. So Trideman bodies are there. You can see the Trideman body 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and of course this is Asteria's water vascular system. There are no Policn vesicles. Okay, it is a very important and peculiar system of echinoderms. Friends, how the echinoderms develop? This is zygote, undergoes cleavages. As a result of cleavage, morula is formed, and the morula develops a cavity called blastocele. Invagination occurs, and gastrula is formed here. This gastrula develops into a larva called bipinnaria larva, later brachiolaria larva, and you will find the oral side of small young starfish. This is the aboral side of young starfish. In such a way the development will go on in starfish. Okay, Bruguiere in the year 1791 classified Echinodermata into Palmatozoa, where completely stalked individuals. Eleutherozoa, moving individuals are there. In Palmatozoa there is Crinozoa, subphylum, and in Crinozoa there is only one class called Crinoidea. Okay, Crinoidea class includes feathered stars and sea lilies. Then Eleutherozoa has two subphyla, Asterozoa and Echinozoa. Asterozoa, Ophiuroidea, Asteroidea. Echinozoa has Echinoidea and Holothuroidea. This is old classification, but recent classification explains that Asteroideans and Holothuroideans are close relatives. Ophiuroideans and Echinoideans are very close relatives. The larval symmetry, larval development, larval characteristics explain that Ophiuroids and Echinoids are close. Ophiopluteus and Echinopluteus, Pluteus larvae, and these are Auricularia larva and Brachiolaria larva. Auricularia, Brachiolaria. Ophiopluteus, Echinopluteus. Ophiopluteus, Echinopluteus. Brachiolaria, Auricularia. So larval symmetry, larval similarities explain that Ophiuroidians are very close to Echinoidians. Asteroidians are very close to Holothuroidians. This is a hypothesis to be discussed debated greatly like that. So Ophiuroidians, example, brittle stars; Asteroidians, sea stars; Echinoidians, sea urchins; and Holothurians are sea cucumbers. Okay, friends, you just observe the larva. This is the Doliolaria larva of crinoid, where you don't find any, what is that called, arms. Okay, arms are totally absent. This is Doliolaria, okay, crinoid larva. And you see this is Ophiopluteus larva for Ophiuroidea. Bipinnaria and Brachiolaria are the two larvae of Asteroidea. And this is Echinopluteus larva of Echinoidians. and this is auricularia larva of holothurians. You just find the similarities between auricularia and bipinnaria brachyolaria. Okay, bipinnaria. And you just observe Ophiopluteus, Echinopluteus. Okay, so these three are of one kind and these three are of other kind. So observing the larval characteristics, one can easily identify the common ancestry of all these echinoderms, though echinoderms are looking very different. Okay. Now there are two theories to explain the evolution of echinoderms. One is called Diplorula Theory and the other one is called Pentaccula Theory. We have already discussed that tremendous dispersibility of echinoderms is only because of larvae. But how is this possible when you have sessile nature, but is almost all occupied all the portions of ocean? This is only one reason that their larvae are showing tremendous dispersibility. Okay, their larvae, because are plankton feeding ancestors, actually they are having, so they may be having some similarities with the Lophotrochozoan hemichordates. Okay, during the Cambrian radiation time. So during Cambrian radiation, so all the echinoderms have evolved within a short span of time. Okay, short span means geological time, a very, very large time actually. But all the invertebrates have evolved during Cambrian evolution. Later they got specialized. Okay, the evidence from gene expression is also very, very important nowadays. Genetic studies are also proving that all these echinoderms are having common ancestry. Okay, most of the bilateral symmetrical organisms have developed from ciliary feeders feeding larvae. This is one theory. However, the study of larval forms of living echinoderms indicate that a great deal of larval evolution has taken place in recent past and continues dynamically among close related living clades of echinoderms. Okay, phylogenetic relationship. Due to the presence of enterocoelic coelom and some other minor resemblances, attempts have been made to establish the relationship between auricularia and tornaria. But that was an old concept. Garston in the year 1894 could establish the relationship between Ascidian tadpole larva and auricularia larva. Ascidian tadpole and auricularia larva are having some similarities based on Ascidian theory was proposed to explain the evolution of chordates. Okay, the Diplorula larva theory was proposed by Batter. Pentaccula theory was proposed by Salmon and Hyman. Okay, here the body is almost all oval with the ventral flat end. Here the body is larvae. These two are hypothetical larvae. From these larvae, echinoderm larvae might have evolved. This is a theory, hypothesis. This is Diplorula larva, this is Pentaccula larva. And both the theories are explaining about the origin of the things, but both are having some disadvantages or some of the demerits. Okay, and this Pentaccula theory explains hydrocele, that means water vascular system. How the water vascular system is formed is very clearly explained by the Pentaccula theory, but the other similarities are very close to the Diplorula theory. Okay, now friends, you just observe these are the larvae of echinoderms. Echinoderm larvae are very, very significant. As I mentioned that they are very we are having a lot of concern of studying these larvae to understand how the evolution of echinoderms have taken place. This is bipinnaria larva having you see here dorsomedian arm. This is called dorsomedian arm, and this is called ventromedian arm. Dorsomedian, ventromedian, and this is dorsolateral. You observe two dorsolateral. This is posterior dorsal, this is posterior lateral. Dorsomedian, dorsolateral, posterior dorsal, posterior lateral arms. And this is ventromedian, preoral, postoral. These are the arms. And this is the mouth and as digestive system and anus. you will find a certain development from bipinnaria to brachiolaria here. Okay, gradually ciliar bands have formed, and you see here this is Ophiopluteus larva. Ophiopluteus larva is having here anterolateral arm. This is called posterolateral arm. Anterolateral, posterolateral, and posterodorsal and left posterodorsal arms are there here. And if you see the same structures here in the Echinopluteus also. Okay, and this is the auricularia larva where arms are totally absent, and this is Doriolaria larva where ciliary bands 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ciliary bands are present. So by studying the Echinoderm larvae, one can very clearly understand the pathway of evolution of Echinoderms. Okay, this is the common larvae. This is the common larva that might have given origin to all Echinoderms. Okay, the common larva, you can observe the ciliary band. The ciliary band of this common larva, whether it may be a Diplorula larva or a Pentactula larva, the ciliary band here has become round. Here it is growing laterally. Because of this, laterally you will find arms here, very long arms, and here arms are not very clear, very short arms are there. Central disc and arms are not very clearly demarcated here. Here central disc and arms are very clearly demarcated because these ciliary bands are growing in different way. Okay, so based on this we can say that Ophiuroidea and Echinoidea are very close. Ophiuroidea arms spread like this, Echinoidea arms folded like this. Okay, and then these arms are not very far stretched in the case of Holothuroidea, in the case of Asteroidea. Okay friends, we have discussed some of the characteristics of these Echinoderms. Thank you very much for watching this video, and this video is developed as a part of providing education to the government funded or public funded education system to the students. In the present situation, COVID-19 situation, most of the students are unable to attend the classes because it is very difficult to attend the class at this moment. So we are providing these videos to educate or to improvise or to refresh the knowledge among the students. Thank you for watching.